All right, so if you're watching this video, that means that you need to complete this packet right here. This is called the Welcome Week packet. And I've been doing this for quite some time since I started at Frontier. It's essentially a week for us to get to know each other and also to prepare you for this math class, because there's a couple things that you're gonna have to do in order for you to be successful, and a lot of that stuff is right here in this packet. We're gonna go ahead and start with part 1, but just know that there's 4 parts in every single packet, and then the 5th page in each part is 1 page. The 5th part is basically just the warm-ups, which they're in the back. By now, you should already know that Monday through Thursday we do one of these sections, and they also have a warm-up section. So if you need the warm-ups, that's found on Google Classroom, and I don't post those up till the end of the week. So you can do them by, say, Thursday or Friday. But I like I said, I want to go ahead and start with the first part. So let's get to it. This is part 1. I call it the About Me letter. This is where you're going to write a letter to me and telling me about yourself. If you need help, it does say turn to the page. I have a few questions that you can answer, but really what it is, it's an example. So I'm giving you an example on what you guys can write. Here's my letter. This was written on Monday, March 25th. Well, actually, if you want me to be honest, it was written on the 24th. But I knew that on the first day that it was going to be March 25th. And I did mention to the students that showed up to class, if you write your name, I'm going to give you extra credit. And this is my letter to you, just so you kind of get an example. But just know that there's 20 lines on this packet, and I'm giving you a point per line. So you decide how much you want to write and how much you want to fill. In my example, it's a little different, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then I guess I kind of cheated. That's 17, 18, 19, and then 20 at the bottom. So I was creative with it, but basically I just want you guys to know that I'm thrilled to be your teacher this spring quarter. I expect you to learn as much as I plan on learning from you. Math does explain how the world works, and basically the entire universe for that matter, and I think it's pretty cool and interesting. And if you want to be successful in life, you're going to want to be good at math. A couple things about me. I know I talked a lot about myself in class. On the first day of class, I gave a big, huge presentation and basically took the whole entire period. But I've been teaching for a while, for 10 years. I've taught at Channel Islands High School, at Hueneme High, at Cal State Channel Islands, and now I'm at Frontier, and I love teaching, if you guys can't tell. I feel like it keeps me young. I like to play basketball, soccer, volleyball, and pickleball, tons of sports. I was the mayor of Hueneme last year, and I'm currently on the city council where we make all the rules and decide how to spend the money. Super cool. It's fun and exciting, but it comes with a lot of responsibilities. And I definitely think that everybody needs to be more involved in the city that they live in. My family consists of those who are close to me, including my parents, my brother, my grandmother, and my fiance, and I consider you to be my family, and I'm going to treat you as such, and I expect you to do the same. I was born in Salinas, and I've been living here in Southern California since I was 5 years old. I took the time to write my own signature, so hopefully you guys can make this your own writing, and I hope that this is going to be your favorite math class of all time. So again, this is worth 20 points. Each page is worth 20 points. Each one of these pages is worth 20 points. I just explained the first one. When you turn in this packet, you want to make sure that you turn it in as completed as possible. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of students that turn in the packets and they're not complete, and then they don't get a lot of points, and then they ask why, and then I have to go. I'm going to write the grade breakdown here for you, but it's fairly straightforward. You'll get a score up here at the top, Make sure that you guys put your name and the period that you're in. All the packets are gonna have a number. So I know that this is packet 1, and they all have them on the top right side, and the only part that has the back side is the last page. That way it just makes it super easy for you guys to know what packet you're looking at. So that's welcome week. I did a lot of talking about myself, and I was explaining to you guys my journey and how it came about me being a math teacher. You can write as much as you want, like on this paper. This is a letter that I'm going to be reading, me myself. While I'm at it, I might as well explain the logo. So the logo is Best Math Teacher, and I do have a website and a domain. It's not up and running just yet, but the reasoning behind it is that not that I'm the best math teacher, but the truth is you're gonna have to be your best math teacher. Like, the learning comes through you. And what am I saying by this is, if you're telling yourself that you hate math or you don't like math, you're your own worst enemy, and you're making a wall where information is not going into your brain and you're not learning it yourself. So what I'm saying is, you have to change the way you think so that you can be the best version of yourself, and also by that I mean be your best math teacher and you learn as much as you can. But anyways, let me go ahead and explain part 2. Part 2 is teams, and on this day I had all of you get up out of your seats, and I taught you how to shake someone's hands. Essentially all you had to do was get up out of your desk, get to know your classmates, shake their hand, have students write their names and their birthday in the boxes, and you had to connect 5. So either 5 this way, this way. I noticed today that the 2 most popular rows was this one and this one. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. There was a diagonal here and there. So I'm pushing you to get to know more people, and the reason why I'm pushing you to get to know more people is because the more people that you get to know, the more links and connections that are made and built, and that allows you to be more successful, because then there's more people that you can go to for help. I also mentioned that there's been a lot of students that have been successful at Frontier, even though you might think okay, well, is there really going to be someone famous coming out of Frontier? Is there someone that's really going to become a millionaire? The truth is, there has been and there will be, and you can be that person. Or you might be sitting in the same classroom where someone in the future is going to be that person. So you want to open up yourself to get to know as many people. I mentioned in class, I've known over 2,000 students by now that I've taught, not including the other students that like hanging out in my room or they get to know me because I sub. But I think I've known maybe more than 5,000 people from me being on city council, from me teaching, my family. I'm a very outgoing person, so I like to get to know people. And so there's a couple things that I told you. So today in class I said, when you go shake someone's hand, make sure it's a nice, firm handshake. But you also want to look at them in their eyes, and you want to see them and feel the other person's energy. Most people can tell whether someone is going to be someone that they like or not like within the first 2 seconds. But sometimes you're wrong, and you meet someone that you don't like and it turns out you really like them, or vice versa. I also mentioned that when I was your guys' age, I thought that certain people were my friends, and it turns out that they weren't very good friends, but I thought that was being a good friend. Being a good friend isn't someone who talks shit about you or talks smack. There's a lot of people that envy you, that are jealous. They talk a lot of bad things, even in front of you, and you'll say something like, oh, well, that's just how we talk, but that's not normal. I know you guys like to think that, and I hear that all the time, but I'm telling you, it's not normal for you to talk bad about someone, especially not in front of them. As you get older, you'll find out who are your real friends, but you won't. You need to expose yourself to as many people, or else you're not gonna find them. Because think about it, there's over 8 billion people on this planet. The odds of you finding finding everybody and getting to know everyone are very, very slim, maybe even impossible, I'm not sure. But what I'm getting to is you have to grow out of your shell. And that's also a part that's very important in terms of you guys being successful here in math, because I was able to be successful in math by getting to know other people and working with other people. And I'm talking about my classmates in college and the university, and studying together and asking them for help. And so you can isolate yourself and you can just be you, or you can be everyone. It's up to you to decide what you want to be. But this was a fun activity. And then if you turn the page, you'll see all these questions. And so what you have to do on this one is you got to find somebody to ask you all these questions. If you weren't in class, that means that we can't really do it exactly the same, but you have to find a partner and you guys have to take turns answering these questions. And so you have to answer all these questions with your partner. By the end of this activity, I think that you'll feel a lot more closer to that person. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me. You can even leave comments on this video. But you can talk to me in class just in case if you guys have any questions. The next part on this packet is part 3, and it's called vision. Another name that I could have called it would be self-image. Every single person has 2 images of themselves in their mind. So you have an external image of, what you look like, okay? But then there's also an internal image of yourself and how you view yourself to the world. And we call that the self-image. This image determines whether if you think you're smart or not, if you think you're talented, like in any subject, and basically all the stuff that people can't really see about you. And you have that inside of yourself. A lot of you guys say it all out loud all the time. Like you might say, "Oh, I'm not good at math," or I don't know. A lot of the time, most people say a lot of negative stuff. Let's just be honest. And it's funny how people are okay with saying all this negativity. But I want you to write in this assignment right here. I want you to write 5 words at least. Write as many words or sentences that describe who you are as a person. So you can draw arrows. Some people might say like they're kind or funny. It's whatever you think about yourself. Make sure the ones that you feel most strongly about yourself, you make them bigger, bolder, or underline. And then make sure you draw yourself some hair, maybe a face, some clothes, some shoes. So this is you. Now this part is not worth as much. It's only 5 points. But it's an easy way. You can get this done so fast. Like just come up with 5 words. I will give you extra credit if you make this look nicer. So it has a potential to have more points. But the majority of your points come on this backside. This is what I call the magic mirror. Right, so in class, we're going to watch a video. You can watch the video. I might add the link on this YouTube video, but the video is going to be on Google Classroom. So all the videos are going to be on Google Classroom, and it'll have the right title. You'll know it's like, hey, this is the video for the magic mirror for part 3 in welcome week, packet 1. But you want to draw an image of your perfect future into the magic mirror right here. So this is the magic mirror, and what I think is cool about this assignment is you can see yourself in there. So you don't have to draw yourself. It's from the opposite side so that it kind of like you can see it. But make sure you add color. So that's a must. If you don't add color, if you don't add color, I'm gonna take away points, 5 points. You want to add as much detail as possible. And on here, on the magic mirror, you're going to draw all the stuff that you want to see in your life. You want to close your eyes, and we're going to do this activity in class. But if you're not in class, you're going to have to do it on your own. So you're going to close your eyes. You're going to visualize yourself in 5 years from now and picture the things that you want in your life. there might be some things that you have now that you want to continue to have, like say your family or certain friends or whatever it is. So make sure you add it into the magic mirror. I've been doing this activity ever since I've been at Frontier, and it's actually worked for my students. If you add emotion to it and you actually invest time into it, if you just take this as an assignment, it might not have as big of an impact. I'm just gonna be honest. But we've done a lot of activities that are similar to this in my entrepreneurship classes. In my we used to have a homeroom at Frontier where I would have those group of students for the entire year, even though they would change classes every quarter. I would still be their home teacher for the whole year, which I thought was cool, by the way. But for whatever reason, we don't have it anymore. And so it's even helped me. I did that activity, and when I first did this activity, I didn't even have a house. I hadn't started a company. And there's an example that I showed to my students in class, and I'm like, look, here's my example that I did, and now I have a house. I started my business. I've been traveling more. I feel more free. And those were the things that I added to the magic mirror. Now, one of the reasons we do this activity is so that you can see that your life can change. You might not be good at math right now, or you might hate math, but it doesn't have to be like that forever. Everybody, regardless of what skill you're talking about, everybody sucked in the beginning or wasn't good at something until they started practicing and eventually got better. So everybody, like, let's just say we all start somewhere and we all start at the bottom, but we got to work our way up. Some of you guys haven't worked your way up in terms of math. But remember, if you're not good at math, you're going to struggle with your finances. You're going to struggle with your relationships. You're going to struggle with achieving your goals and your health. And there's a long list of other things, because mathematics is the framework of this universe. This box that you live in, whatever you want to call it. I'm in a rectangular prism right now in a room. This universe obeys a lot of math rules. If anything, only math rules. It's all math. So if you want to get good at a lot of stuff, and a lot of this stuff is very basic and very simple, like numbers. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it a zero? It's very simple, and I'm going to do my best to teach you all of those concepts in this class. So make sure you take this very seriously. The next part is for Thursday. It's the report card. So if you see here, I have Frontier High School quarter report card. I already added spring 2024. I'm pretty sure that's your school quarter. So that should say quarter. Put your period, put your name, put your grade level. Anything that you have missing, like if you miss any of these, you're going to lose points. Scrolling down to the bottom, you have to put your schedule. Some of you guys have 0 period. Don't add your 0 period. Just add your first, second, third, and fourth. Put your subject and your teacher. If you don't add some of these, you're going to lose points. So it's like 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, point there, point there. Like there's plenty of points. And if you miss anything, you're going to lose points here. I want you to add your grade letter or percentage. I know I have a plus, but this one I will cut you some slack. Just put the letter grade that you want. And then tell me what you think you need to do to earn that mark in the class. Remember, each class is different. So if you have me for first period, just write, okay, so for Mr. Martinez's, if I want an A, I'm going to have to do all the assignments. And then you already saw that I have a class syllabus. I gave you a class syllabus. You can see all the assignments for the entire quarter, and you know what you need to do to get that mark. The last thing, or the bottom part, is I want you guys to think about how you're going to feel at the end of the quarter if you have these report card grades, or these grades in your report card. Some of you guys need to pass these classes so you guys can graduate. But think about how you're going to feel. If you focus on that, you're going to be more successful. And then I also want to know what else you want to accomplish next. Be specific. So this assignment I've also been doing for quite some time, and if you do it now in the beginning of this, at the beginning of the school year, it's going to be more impactful than if you wait till the end, because you're going to have an idea of how you want to perform. Um, if we flip the page, I have some math questions. I want to know how much you like math. You know, you can tell me a number from 0 to 10. You can just tell me much or not much. I want to know how much you care about your finances, your health, your relationship, and your future goals. Remember, all of this has to do with math. So today, or for this lesson on this class, I if you missed it, you missed the good lesson. But I was basically explaining all the ways that we can tie math into the real world. Mathematics is a language. It's an art. It's discovered. It's not created. I mean, you can get creative and you can create your own math, but the math that we're using is very practical and applicable to your world, your life. If you had to pick one of these topics to improve, which one would you pick out of these? Or if you have something else, and tell me why would you pick that one topic? Now, I want to remind you that math makes everything easier. Why do you think math is important? So I want you to explain it, but what we talk about in class is how can math improve each of these things right here at the top, which are all very important. Another thing that we're doing in class is we're working on our name tag. So make sure that you do your name tag. The name tag is worth 25 points. But essentially what I'm saying is this day, Thursday, is a little bit easier. We are watching a video on, it's Bob Proctor from the Vault video. It's really, really good. And I'll have a link on Google Classroom too if you miss it. So don't worry about that. But we're going to do in the last part, and I'm giving you a point for each of these lines. There's 10 lines here. You have to write the following sentence 10 times. Every problem is an opportunity for growth. Okay? I know that the math problems that we do in class aren't actual like real life. Like, for example, there's a week where we talk about finances. So we use hypothetical and we imagine like future like expenses and stuff. But if you had a job and you had expenses and we were doing them for your actual life, that's real math. And so I'm hoping that you guys learn from this class, that all the stuff that we learn, and then you apply it to your life in real life. So that you can be successful. So that's real math. Real math is not the math that you do in class. Real math is the math where you're like out on the street and you're doing calculations, or you're calculating percentages on how much money you're trying to save, or you're buying a house and you're thinking how much you're going to pay on interest. That's like the real math. But all the math that we do in class, in our class, it's practice. It's practicing for the real world. So this is a mantra. Every problem is an opportunity for growth. Okay, and I want you guys to think about that over and over and over, because the math problems that we do, they're essentially they're problems that you're gonna eventually face. And I know we don't like problems, but the truth is we're all gonna have problems. Like literally, like no joke, like sometimes even me as an adult, like even though I got my whole life figured out, sometimes I'm just like, okay, when am I gonna catch a break? Like something's always coming up. So I always have to be on my toes. And even right now, when I'm just kind of like everything, I'm cruising and everything seems easy, like I just have to be aware that there might be something that's going to arise and come into my life, a problem. And I have to know how to deal with that problem and ultimately how to grow because of that problem. And so again, this week isn't just about, we talked about a lot of stuff, the About Me letter, like getting to know you. We talked about the teams, getting to know your classmates. We talked about vision, like how you see yourself, where do you see yourself in the future? And then this last one, the report card, it's really diving deep a little bit more and trying to work the relationship that you have with math. Because if you're the kind of person that says like, hey, I'm not good at math, I suck at math, I can't do math, you're not going to be successful. Think about this for a second. A long time ago, 200 years ago, there was a lot of people that couldn't read and write. And a lot of people who couldn't read and write probably didn't want to read and write, or for whatever reason, they didn't care enough to go out of their comfort zone to learn how to read and write. A lot of them said, well, I don't have the money to learn. Whatever reason, everybody has an excuse, okay? It was okay for people to not be good at reading and writing back then. Nowadays, fast forward 200 years, it's not okay for you to not be good at reading and writing. If you don't know how to read and write, that's embarrassing. You don't want people to know you don't know how to read and write. And there's people out there that don't know how to read and write. I actually knew somebody that actually worked at one of the schools as a janitor. He actually told me, he's like, hey, Mr. Martinez, I have a lot of faith in you. I trust you. Can you help me read this? Because I can't read. It's very embarrassing for me, but can you help me? Nowadays, the school system does a really good job of making sure that everybody can read and write and that everybody's proficient. But in the future, it's going to be math. And if you, like right now, it's okay for people, I guess it's okay for people to say that they're not good at math. I hear it all the time. I'm a math teacher. I hear parents, I hear some other teachers say like, oh man, you're a math teacher. Like, that's my worst subject. You know, like, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I think it's funny how everybody's open on saying like that they're not good at something. I would be embarrassed, you know, to say that they're not good at math, because if they're telling me that they're not good at math, I'm just thinking like, damn, they're probably not good at their finances. Their health is probably not good. Their relationships are probably not good. They probably don't accomplish their goals, even though they became a teacher or they're doing whatever it is they're doing. They're not maximizing their full potential. And so that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to maximize your full potential as a human being in this 21st century with technology. It's probably one of the best times in our life, in our history as human beings, where we're learning a lot. I almost feel like every single month something new is coming out with technology, but that's besides the point. You have to get good at math, and so this first packet kind of sets it up for you to be successful. Again, you want to turn it in by the end of the week, and make sure you turn it in complete. I didn't go over the warm-ups, but the warm-ups are self-explanatory. They're on Google Classroom. Just go click on the links. There's a section for warm-ups. But I hope that you guys are caught up. If you have any questions, just ask me. You can email me too. But I'm pretty easy to get along, and I'm always there for all my students. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like. You don't have to subscribe, but just give me a like. And if you guys want to comment something, go for it. This is my teacher channel for the OUHSD district. So this is all for the school. But just know that I care about you guys, and I want you guys to be successful.